the office and check the price of pork futures. And just in case you haven't actually pondered that question, I'll tell you. As close to never as you can get without actually applying for a new job. But I'd never quit. I make decent money doing this, and I'm actually pretty good at it, which is why they won't fire me no matter how bad my attitude. Money beats anything when you're within sniffing distance of the stock exchange. I had moved to Chicago 2 years earlier from a rural New Jersey town, which left me saddled with an accent that made me sound shades dumber than I actually was. Tony Soprano meet Lil Abner. I didn't know a lot of folks, had few people I considered friends, and I was single. There were only two things that I liked about Chicago. At the top of that list was the women. There were a lot of them. They outnumbered the men. Good odds even for the weaker members of the herd. I'd been fairly blessed in my life when it came to women, though not by any talent or personality asset that I'd cultivated. My parents never did much for me, but they were both tall. I stood 6'3" and weighed about 250 pounds. Like my father, who was in unexplainably great shape well into his 50s, I had long, rangy muscles, a flat stomach, and an ape chest. And depending on where you caught me along my night of drinking, I could be mildly amusing in a smart-assy, narcissistic sort of way. I possess about 60 minutes of actual charm. It slept comfortably most of the time, hidden in its stable until it had to be saddled up and rode hard. Once I approached a woman, the clock was ticking. I had to seal the deal within that first hour, or they would find out it was all smoke and mirrors. If you asked any woman that I'd slept with what she thought of me, approximately 90% would use some variation of the term asshole. I'd like to believe that I was just misunderstood, but truthfully, most of the time I was just a big prick. Like most drinkers, I have a sliding scale. 2 drinks and I'm all snuggly and cute, the guy that girls cuddle up to and share a few laughs with. Then I take 'em home and fuck their brains out. 3 to 4, I'm still charming and witty, but the snuggly guy has disappeared. Here is where I can cut to the chase. She knows she's not going to have a lot of laughs, but the sex will be intense. And I'll leave afterwards, and her boyfriend will never have to know. After I've put down a half-dozen drinks, I'm loud and surly and behave as stupidly as I sound. That's where, if I'm going to get laid, it's either out of pity or she's as obnoxiously drunk as I am. At this level, I'm the perfect guy to take home and screw, so she can rub it in her boyfriend's face the next day. This is also the stage where I get into a lot of fights, with men and women. When it was with women, it usually takes the form of having a drink thrown on me as they launch into a tirade of verbal insults. With men, it's more about heading outside and hoping I can clear my head fast enough to block a punch. My father taught me to fight by beating the crap out of me, so I learned how to defend myself. Once I finally could whip his ass, which happened when I was just shy of 16, he left me alone. Since I was always large for my age, my father constantly accused me of being too big for jockeys, as if my size was a challenge to his own. He had a quick way of settling his fear, a smack upside my head, a kick to my ass, and my personal favorite, a sharp twist of my arm followed with a toss across the room. Yeah, he was a dick. Boo-hoo for me. I bided my time, and when I was nearly as tall as him and youthfully fast, I stole his crown. I finished the fight by twisting his arm behind his back and tossing him across the room, much to my younger brother's delight. From that moment, it was boo-hoo for him. He often toyed with the idea of trying to topple the new regime which had deposed his top dog standing, but I covertly and a few times overtly reminded him that I was not about to let him reign again. At least, not without hurting him badly. Bar fights aren't dissimilar. I don't step outside unless I'm serious about kicking someone's ass, and once I do, most guys aren't too keen about heading out back to take me on a second time. The other thing I like about Chicago is the bars. What a surprise, huh? A metropolis built for the likes of me. You can get a drink in this city at any hour of any day. Coming from a place where there were 3 bars total, I hit the mother lode. Hello, my name is Todd, and I'm an alcoholic. Hello again, my name is Todd, and I don't care. I'm not interested in conquering it. I like slugging it back and getting loaded.